The abuse started when I was 11 with my stepfather with
Oh my.
sexual molestation, and I had gone and told my mother what happened,
Uh-huh.
and she refused to believe it. She turned her back on me, and it's
Oh, how
like,
awful.
who do you trust? Who's the person that you trust most in the world? And that's your mom.
Welcome to Creativity with Purpose, where we explore the stories, struggles, and sparks that shape our creative lives. I'm your host, Ann Marachek, author, healer, and believer in the power of meaningful expression. Together, we'll dive deep into what it means to create with heart, live with intention, and heal through the beauty of storytelling.
I'm Ann Marachek, and this is Creativity with Purpose. Kathy Sechrist is a survivor of lifelong abuse and a passionate advocate for those finding their way out of the darkness. Through her raw and compelling storytelling, she sheds light on the often hidden realities of domestic violence while offering a message of courage, healing, and hope. Her memoirs, Success is the Best Revenge and Sarah's Redemption, draw from personal experience to reveal the long-term impact of trauma and the resilience it takes to break free and rebuild. Kathy writes to tell her story and to give voice to those still trapped in silence. Both critics and readers have praised her work for its unflinching honesty, emotional depth, and ability to connect with those who are walking a similar path. Beyond the page, Kathy actively raises awareness about abuse and helps others understand the signs, struggles, and strength needed to survive and thrive. She now lives in the hill country of Texas, where wide skies and quiet mornings offer the peace she once only dreamed of. She shares her home with her partner Dean and their tabby cat Toby, affectionately known as the warlord of the house. That's cute. Hi, Kathy. Good morning.
Good morning, Anne. How are you?
I'm fine. This is lovely. So good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate that.
Excellent. And which you probably know, we share some things in common in that my book, Unpacking the Attic, is also a memoir, also triggered by childhood trauma and
Hmm.
the healing process that it takes to move forward and to reframe those memories. What inspired you to turn your experiences into, well, your first memoir, Success is the Best Revenge, and now Sarah's Redemption?
Well, the abuse started when I was 11 with my stepfather with
Oh my.
sexual molestation, and I had gone and told my mother what happened,
Uh huh.
and she refused to believe it. She turned her back on me, and it's
Oh, how
like,
awful.
who do you trust? Who's the person that you trust most in the world? And that's your mom. And so from then forward, I was treated as if I was a liar and I was not worthy and that sort of thing. So in growing up like that,
I,
the relationships that I sought out were abusive relationships. And so just continuing on and continuing on. And when you grow up in that atmosphere, it's almost like you think that that's normal. Everybody's life is like that.
oh,
And it took me until I was in my 40s to realize that isn't necessarily true. And I was afraid to tell anybody because of the response that I had gotten from my mom. So I kept it inside up until I was like in my 40s, 45.
wow.
And that's when I had a divorce that I didn't want.
Mm.
And I ended up in a romantic relationship with my business partner. He had been my business partner for about 5 years.
Uh-huh,
He
uh-huh.
never had any romantic inclinations those 5 years until after my divorce. So he became, you know, how abusers are very charming, charismatic in the very beginning, and they treat
Uh-huh.
you as if you're gold. And
Mhm.
then once they have you in their web, that's when they turn on you. And he became very abusive, very violent,
Oh my
both
gosh.
physically and emotionally. There were 3 times that he tried to kill me through choking, and I survived. And so the question is, well, why did you stay?
Right.
And I think every woman or every man who has been in that situation has their own reasons to
Mhm.
stay. And I had my own reasons to stay. The humiliation of having to admit that
Mhm.
I'm a middle-aged, successful woman who has allowed this to happen in my life. I couldn't face my friends. Before this, I was an advocate for domestic violence, and I should have known, I should have known the signs and all that. So I just kept it inside. And then for years, I just lived in silence,
Mhm.
believing that what I went through wasn't something some people wanted to hear. But, silence is heavy, as you probably well know from your experience. It distorts your reality.
Yeah.
And the turning point came when I realized that telling my story wasn't just about healing myself. It was about reaching someone who might still be in the dark,
Right.
thinking they're alone. So writing gave shape to my pain, and that shape could be shared. And
Mhm.
that's where the memoirs were born, not from a desire to relive the past, but to reclaim it. And
Right.
so that's how it all began.
Right. How did actually putting pen to paper and writing these experiences and these memories down, how was that transformative for who you are now?
Um, well, let me just start by saying it took me 5 years to write the first book.
Oh,
And I would sit down and I'd say, this happened, that happened, and it was so boring even to me, and it was not portraying what really happened.
yes.
And then one day, I guess they call it a muse, sat on my shoulder. Her name was Sarah, and she offered to take the whole story onto herself. And once I took it out of myself and into Sarah,
Yeah.
it just flowed. And so that's how it happened. And yeah, it was cathartic. It helped me understand a lot of things about myself, how I got to where I was,
Uh-huh.
why I got to where I was, and that I'm really an okay person, that
Mm.
it wasn't me that did all of that. It was the other people who did it to me. I just simply allowed it. So then, you have guilt about that. So
Mhm.
I shed the guilt about that by writing through it. And then becoming more active in awareness of domestic violence, I think helped me, um, knowing that I was not alone. Other women were out there, other men were out there, other children were out there
Yeah.
who were being abused. And so that kind of transformed me into who I am today.
So it seems to me that your desire to help other people get out of these traps, these emotional, physical, abusive traps where they
Mhm.
find themselves silenced. It was really that desire to help other people that finally gave you the courage to not just write down the experiences, but to really face them with honesty and to write down the real depth of what happened.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Success is the best revenge is very raw.
Yeah.
It goes into detail about what happened, and the reason I wrote it that way
Uh-huh.
was because I didn't want to hide from the truth anymore. This was my truth.
Mhm.
And so as I was writing it, I thought there's so many others who are hiding their truth. And if I could just, with my words, my story, reach one person and help that person see the light that they could get out of that in their mind, that's why I wrote the book. Just, all it would take for me was to know that one person
Right.
had read it and had changed their lives or had realized that they didn't have to sit in the dark.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
for me, that is just the epitome of creativity with purpose. Because until you found your purpose, the creative flow didn't happen.
Right, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I am before it was like as I was writing it from my
Yeah,
perspective,
right.
it was like, who cares?
Mm,
Because my history has been who cared, you know? And
mm,
so once Sarah took over, Sarah cared in my mind.
yeah,
And so she
yeah.
just took off with it. Yeah.
Would you consider her an angel, a spirit guide? Um, how did you personify her and perceive her?
She was, I guess, a lot of writers call them a muse, but
Okay.
I like what you said about the spiritual guide
Hmm.
because she is still in my writing.
Hmm.
The first two
I
books,
assume that she's Sarah's redemption. That is your Sarah.
yes,
Yes,
she's Sarah, and
yes.
she's born in Success is the Best Revenge, and
Uh-huh.
then just a little hint: the Success is the Best Revenge when Sarah escapes and starts a new life in the Midwest. But then that's when she's trying to find out who she is.
Uh-huh.
How is she going to manage in this world? She's in a brand new culture, brand new area of the country,
Mhm.
and never worked in a corporate world before. So now she's thrown into that and knows nobody.
Yeah.
And so, how does she manage through that? By letting go of her demons, from the abuse. So,
Right. Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So Sarah, yeah, is more my spiritual guide, and I love her to death.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's interesting. I find that my my muse, my spirit guide is what I call her. I don't know her name.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that interesting? I hear her in my mind. I hear her talk. I
Uh-huh.
feel the guidance. And yet she's not revealed a name, which
Well,
I find interesting.
can you
So I'm
visualize her?
when I'm sorry?
Can you visualize her?
No, no, she's just light.
Oh,
And
wow.
I recognize her voice. And interestingly, I recognize how she smells.
Seriously.
Seriously,
Wow.
there's times when I smell daffodils
Uh-huh.
and it's like, oh, she's here.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, and oftentimes in that hazy when you're almost awake, but not, and the whole room will smell like daffodils to me. Just beautiful,
Oh,
overwhelming.
wow. That
And I
is
feel her presence then. That's actually, she was the one that actually got me to write Unpacking the Attic.
oh, really?
I had written, I journaled
Mhm.
all of my memories as I was emptying my parents' home for resale,
Mhm.
and written all of the memories that had surfaced and the emotions from that trauma into a personal journal. And I
Mhm.
just wrote it for me, for my own healing, and I put it in a file cabinet, and it sat there for 8 years.
Wow.
And um, I've told this story before, but it's so vivid, like it just happened yesterday. I was awakened at 3 a.m. and it felt like I'd been shook, like really awakened.
Mhm.
And I heard her say, the title of your book is Unpacking the Attic. And I'm, thank you. What book? I had no recollection of, I'd never thought of the journaling I had done in real time during the experience as a
Yeah.
book. It
Yeah.
was just me journaling, right?
Uh-huh.
And I get this visual image of the manuscript in the file cabinet, and she says, it's time. So the next morning, I'm awake and I'm going through my emails, and I see a email from the Steve Harrison Publishing Group in my inbox. I had never reached out to them. I'd never heard of them. And here is this email that says, we're interested in working with you to get your manuscript published, and please call me. And it was Joe, and you probably know Joe. And so my husband's like, it's a sign you have to call.
Yeah.
So I called and talked with Joe, and he says, well, read me. And I explained to him that I'd been awakened and told the name of the book and so forth. He says, well, read me the introduction, first 2 chapters, which I did. And there's this long silence, and I thought, oh, Lord, he hates it. And he says, well, I'm crying. You've touched something very deep within me, and it's time to share. And that's just what she said. It's time.
Time to share. So was it still in journal form, or had you
Yeah.
stopped?
No,
Oh,
it was still basically a journal. I had actually written an introduction as if it was going to be a book in the first couple of chapters, but then I had just put it in the file cabinet. And
yeah.
so I spent the next 9 months turning it into the actual book, Unpacking the Attic.
Uh-huh.
But interesting that both of us had our spirit guides intervene for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that's where I found my purpose as well, in the realization that there are so many of us that suffer the same childhood abuses, or, even as adults.
Yeah.
Uh, we feel shame, we feel humiliation, we feel abandonment, we feel rejection. I mean, these things are universal to the human experience, unfortunately. And
Mm-hmm.
so, even though our circumstances are different, now I didn't suffer sexual abuse. I suffered a lot of neglect, a
Oh.
lot of feeling unloved, being told I wasn't wanted, these sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
So, while mine had a different set of details, which everyone's will,
Yeah.
I you still experience, this self doubt and these recordings, I guess you would say, that are programmings that we are
Right.
unworthy, right? And
Perfect.
how
Yeah.
did you go back in time then and rewrite those scenarios for yourself to free yourself from all of that baggage, if you will?
Mm-hmm. Well, betrayal is huge in that as well.
Yes,
Once I got older, and I reflected on not what my stepfather did. I think what hurt the most was what my mother did or didn't do,
yes,
and how she treated me. And so, the betrayal was huge in that. And I don't know how a person starts to write that out, but knowing, I think, in your heart that it is a story that needs to be told, not for you, but for others, to maybe they can find some hope out of it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, were you able to um, eventually repair or forgive your mother so that you can have a adult relationship with her now?
No, my
No.
mother passed. I was with
Oh.
her when she passed, but
Mhm,
it was still between us. And
mhm,
so we never got to that. But in
mhm,
my mom appears as a ghost.
mm.
It's a success is the best revenge, because
Uh-huh.
it was so important. Our relationship was so important into the story
Yes.
that I couldn't leave her out. And
Mhm,
so I was truthful, but not kind.
mm.
I didn't make her better than she really was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then in what I found, there was a lot of insight for me when I was writing that. And
Mhm.
so in Sarah's redemption, my mom appeared again as a ghost. She followed Sarah. And there was a time when Sarah and Sarah's ghost mom had a heart to heart.
Oh.
And a lot of um, a lot of things came out of that about my mom that I had not realized. But I had guessed as I was writing the first book, I had guessed maybe this is why, and so I put that together as part of her history. It was true history.
Mhm.
So we ended up mending our relationship. Maybe I shouldn't have said that's kind of you know, a
Yeah.
hint of what happens, but yeah. But with my stepfather, I um I called him one day because he survived my mom. So I
Oh,
called him one day
uh-huh.
and it wasn't a friendly call. I
Mhm,
had to um I had to approach it. I had to meet it head on.
mhm,
So I
mhm,
said, "Do you realize what you did to me?"
mhm.
And there was a long pause. And he said, "Yes." And that was, I mean, I can't tell you how that felt because he recognized what he had done rather than lying about it all these years.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Do you recognize how that impacted me?" Another long pause. And he said, "Yes."
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so we never really mended, you know. I guess if you could
Right.
talk about forgiveness, it was maybe half forgiveness,
Mhm.
for what he had done. I was very proud of him for saying that he knew all those things that happened to me and that he had been the part that did it.
Mhm.
And so I was with him also when he passed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I remember he was at home, and I remember going out on the porch and screaming at the top of my lungs because now he's gone and no one will believe me. No one will
Oh,
believe what happened to me. So I guess it was 5 or 10 minutes I was out there just screaming and hitting
wow.
the side of the porch. That's how
Yeah.
frustrated or hurt I was. But so
Mhm.
I think that that's part of what helped me move toward writing the book.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That need to release
Yeah.
so many years of that pent up frustration and anger.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And
So,
when we are coming from a place of anger, resentment, hurt, those are very low vibrational emotions.
mhm.
And I think that holds our spirit back in its finding its true path and its true purpose and the reason we're here, right?
Yeah, I agree totally.
Yeah,
'Cause
it
I felt that
undermines.
about myself.
Yeah, don't you feel it that those low vibrations undermine our ability to live our fullest and thrive while we're here?
Exactly. And if you stop to think about it, what could we have been? What could we have done had
Yes,
we not had that baggage that we wore for so many years until, like you say, the light came and said, "I don't need to do this," you know?
right.
Uh, my mom always said, "I'll never be successful. I should be a wife and a mother, and that's it because you're not going to be functional in the real world." And I remember just trying my hardest to be successful at whatever I did.
Yes,
And I was, but I think I could have gone further,
sure.
in my life. And I'm
Sure.
wondering if that was true for you.
Mhm. Yes, I feel like I have blossomed into my best creative self, um, really since deciding to put Unpacking the Attic out for the world.
Oh, yeah.
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 It has opened floodgates of creativity for me. Well, this and the other novel that I'm publishing actually on this YouTube channel, My Best Friends Live in the Woods, which was written to teach mindfulness and compassion in a very fun, interactive way. And I think
Cool.
that that desire to give, that desire to be focused on what do I have to offer others
Hmm.
has been so freeing for myself as well. It has
Yeah.
it inspires the creativity because it has that laser focus of purpose.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about it quite in those terms, but I think you're right. But I wanted to ask you a question. When you released Unpacking the Attic, did you have any fears of repercussions?
No, and I'll tell you the main reason why is because my father had passed away.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And although the book is actually quite kind to both of my parents, probably more than deserved, to be honest, I felt like if there was anyone that was going to like sue me or be angry or vengeful, it would have been him.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
my mother was, I think, similar to yours, where she felt trapped that and dependent in the relationship that she had with my father. And
Hmm.
therefore she was afraid to do anything to be an advocate for me in any way, because
Hmm.
then it would have undermined her security.
Yeah, that's exactly what I bring out in Sarah's
Yeah,
Redemption. Yeah.
exactly. Now, the interesting thing is, though, after my father passed away, and then I began to turn Unpacking the Attic into an actual, novel, an actual book.
Hmm.
Um, my relationship with my mother was something I worked on very actively because she was
Oh.
still here. And
Hmm.
she passed last August, actually, at 96. And when she died, I wouldn't say we were friends,
Yeah,
but we had a working relationship.
that's very, very
So,
nice.
considering where I started,
Hmm.
we had made tremendous progress. I mean, there was a point where almost anything she said would just make me bristle, and I just want to leave the room.
Yeah, I can understand
Yeah.
that.
And you know how when someone has a spirit that is so out of alignment with your own, if you're
Hmm.
even just at a cocktail party and someone walks in the room, you know instantly if you're attracted to them or repulsed, right?
Yeah,
You
right,
you
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
can feel that, okay?
Hmm.
I had so many layers of walls up between us that it took a lot of active intent for me to begin to accept who she was and forgive her for who she was. And
Hmm.
just know that she did what she was capable of doing with who she was and what she had to work with, basically.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
there became sort of a standoff mutual acceptance, I think.
Uh-huh.
So while I never liked her, and while I always felt betrayed by her because she never stood up for me, she was never
Hmm.
the advocate that I needed her to be, and there was no one else there to fill that role, right?
Hmm.
At the same time, it's like, okay, I am no longer dependent on her. I am no longer a child. I am, I, I can get my own breakfast. Oh,
You can dress yourself. Oh
it's a miracle,
my.
you know. And I found that I learned to love myself, and in doing so, I wasn't looking to her anymore for love, acceptance, approval, all of the above.
Hmm.
I had all of those things internally.
Hmm.
I check those boxes on my own now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome, that transition that you've gone through, your transformation. That
Yes,
and also that you can recognize it, that
yes,
that happened for you.
yes. And
Yeah.
it was an active, conscious pursuit.
Mhm.
And I feel like when she passed away, I was at least neutral. I had at least come to the place of from being over here so resentful and upset to at least a place of neutrality
Mhm.
where I could accept her for who she was and let her let her have her peace, right?
Mhm.
Let go of
Mhm.
all of that
Mhm.
because those old scenarios were no longer relevant or serving any
Yeah.
kind of positive thing way forward for me.
It's almost like, as you're talking about your relationship and your transformation, it's almost like, you kind of grow out of that. You recognize it, and then you do the next step. And with my mom, it was Sarah's redemption that I went through,
Yeah,
that transition that I had. I think I have forgiven her with understanding about the whys. and had I known the whys before, or realized in my own mind that she's probably doing this because of, this is how she responded to her life.
Mhm.
um, our relationship probably would have been better. But having her come as a ghost in the first book, um, I was able to relive some of those hurts and betrayals.
Yeah.
But then having her come back in the second book, I was able to take all of that betrayal, all of those feelings that I had about her,
Mhm. Mhm.
and think about who she was and where she came from and how that might have impacted her life. And
Right.
I really believe that she came to be in the second book.
Yeah.
And in the second book, she told me she loved me. And I
There
hadn't
you go.
heard that in a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there is truly a way that we can transcend to connect with the spirit.
Hmm.
And I firmly believe that each of us are spirits having a physical experience and that the spirit is eternal. And
Uh-huh.
so I think that it is entirely within the realm of our capacity to manifest our own reality that we
Hmm.
can connect with spirits of loved ones who have passed. I
Um,
firmly believe that that is perfectly within the realm of our capability when we focus on that with intent.
I would agree, because that was my first experience in Sarah's redemption, of really feeling my mom near
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I had a similar, in a way, experience where I had a grandfather who the only two words I can ever remember he saying to me were sit down.
Really?
We used to go, my parents would take me to a two family flat to visit, and we would take off our coats, go into the family room. He would point to that red velvet couch and say, sit down. And I'm a toddler, right? And I would,
Hmm.
in fear, he and my parents would go into the kitchen. I would smell cooking. I would hear them eating dinner. I would hear conversation. And I'm sitting there hungry, not allowed in the kitchen. And I would imagine the kitchen as this palatial tables full of food and beautiful dishware and, like a
Yeah.
palace, right? In my mind, right? Never was allowed in the kitchen. And then he would come back and sit in this big green overstuffed chair and puff on his pipe and stare out the window, and he wouldn't even look at me. And I'm still sitting there, right? And after a bit, my mom and dad would grab me up and put my coat on and we'd leave.
You didn't get to eat it all.
No, no. And I took that as Pop doesn't love me.
Yeah, of course.
I'm a bad child.
Hmm.
I am not lovable. And
Hmm.
that's how I translated that experience. Okay. Apparently, there was something wrong with me to cause this scenario to take place around me. That was my internalization of it. And I
Hmm.
carried that with me for decades. All I ever wanted to do was sit on his lap.
Yeah.
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 So as part of the process of writing Unpacking the Attic, that healing journey that I took myself on,
Hmm.
I decided to write Pop a letter.
Uh-huh.
And so similar to you, having your mother's ghost appear to you in your writing process,
Hmm.
I wrote Pop a letter and I told him, I'm so sorry you were broken. Because what I remembered was my mother saying that he had lost all his lust for life when my grandmother, his wife, died. She died very young of diabetes. And
Uh-huh.
I realized, he was just his closed down. He was in deep grief and his heart was closed and he had no room for a toddler in his world.
Uh-huh.
Right. So it
Hmm.
wasn't that I was broken or there was something wrong with me. It was just that he was a closed door.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. But as a toddler, I don't know this. I have no context to put any of these experiences in. Right.
True.
And
Yeah.
children see everything as they're the causation and the center of the world
Of
because
course.
they have no other point of reference. Right.
Hmm.
So in my letter to Pop, I told him, we both missed out on one of life's greatest joys, and that's to laugh with your grandchild.
Aha. Yeah.
And I'm so sorry that we both missed that, but I understand now, and I forgive you.
Mm-hmm.
And I put that letter in a green ceramic bowl representing his overstuffed chair that he used to sit in, and I lit it.
Oh.
As that smoke rose, I felt the most incredible download of wash of spirit energy. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt this overwhelming love and compassion and forgiveness toward him that I'd never felt. I'd always been angry and resentful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of that low vibration negative just went up with the smoke. It just
Mm-hmm.
vanished. Now I have a love for Pop that I never experienced when he was here with us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did he read my letter in the spirit world? Maybe. Was that was that download of this wash of unconditional love from him? Perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
I, does it matter? No. Because the end result was that I was freed from that baggage of that internal dialogue that was so
Mm-hmm.
negative, right?
Right. And that's where I'm at with my mom. I
Yeah,
felt in the portion of the book that I had the insights about my mom, and I wrote about that.
yeah,
Um, I was Each word was a word of forgiveness. Each word that she came back with me to explain her story
yeah.
was a word of forgiveness, and I
Mhm.
truly felt that she was there with me. And the forgiveness is there more than what I could give my stepfather, but I've
Yes.
forgiven her and I miss her now, where
Interesting.
before I would do anything I could to not go visit her, because it was just
I
too
do
painful.
know. Hmm. Yeah, I do know. My husband and I, after my parents moved into assisted living, we would spend every single Sunday taking them out for Sunday brunch, even
Hmm.
though the relationship had been so difficult and so trying and was still very difficult at the time. Because I thought, I'm going to do my best for them, and I'm going to do what I think is right by them. We were the
Hmm.
ones that emptied the house. We were the ones that helped them move. We did everything. Was it
Right.
appreciated at the time? No, I don't think so. I think they had the attitude of they were entitled.
Oh, really?
I think it was an entitlement. Yeah. Um, you are to do what we tell you. I think that continued even through adulthood,
Uh-huh.
when we were trying to be kind and take care of them and help them with this transition and so forth. I don't think
Mhm.
there was any appreciation there. I think it
Oh,
was still this feeling of, I control you, I own you, and by God, you're going to do what I tell you. And we did it though, irregardless of them.
mm-hmm.
It was like, I'm going to offer the help and the kindness and the comfort that I
Mm-hmm.
can give you.
Mm-hmm.
How you respond to it is not my concern.
It's not on you. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Um, I can give you this gift and I can help you, and because it's the right thing to do. And
Mm-hmm.
it's something that I have chosen of my own free will to do for you. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't respond back in a loving way, if you continue to respond back in a negative, low vibration, there's nothing I can do about that. That's on you. All I can do is offer the love and acceptance and the support from my side, and how you choose to respond. Well,
Well, it goes back to that old saying, you can only control your own self.
right,
You can't control anyone else. So your responses, my responses, my reaction, I own them. They're mine.
right,
And for anyone, I mean, going through all those years of the abuse, everyone telling me you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about, you shouldn't feel that way. I've been able to shed that.
yes,
And like you mentioned earlier, to love yourself.
yes,
I'm still learning how to do that, but it's getting easier day by day,
Yeah.
you know.
And I think giving creative voice by being an author
Hmm.
really does give a laser focus to that ability to move forward and to love yourself and to repurpose and rewrite those memories and those old scenarios into something that serves you more now.
Right. I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah. I'm very happy in my life and very content in my life, which is a good feeling and a feeling that, for all those years I didn't have. So in my golden years,
yes, yes,
I'm really enjoying life and I'm enjoying the people around me and I'm choosing the people around me that give me good feelings,
yes,
good vibes. And as you said, when someone walks in the room, you know that maybe that's not someone you want to get to know and leaving them aside. I don't have to be everything to everybody, which
right.
is that's freeing in itself.
It
I
is.
in
It
Yeah.
is. And choosing who you spend time with
Hmm.
is very important because they say that you not only your emotional state, but even your income. You are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. It's
Hmm. Oh,
statistically,
okay. Yeah, good
it's a
point.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
actually a statistic. So choose your circle wisely, right?
exactly.
If you want to thrive and you want to succeed, surround yourself with people who are thriving and succeeding
Hmm. Hmm.
because we tend to imitate those that we're close to.
Right.
Imitation is the highest form of compliment, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, and I think also that repeated exposure, we tend to get in alignment with the people who are around us.
Hmm.
So one of the things that I was very conscious about doing when I started down the path of being an author and creator was to reach out to people who I was admiring as successful, not just in their career, but who I felt radiated a joy
Hmm.
and radiated a creative purpose.
Hmm.
And having expanded my circle and shifted my circle to include more of these other um, beautiful humans, right? Uh,
Right, right,
I
yeah.
have found has been a really rewarding experience for me.
Same here. I have when I first started writing, I joined a writers group,
Mm,
uh, Women's Fiction Writers Association. But even though I wasn't writing fiction,
yeah,
but I found it to be the people there were very inclusive. They were very free, sharing their struggles so that maybe I could, kind of empathize with them, knowing that I was going through those struggles too.
yeah,
And they've been, tremendously supportive. And I think that that has really helped me grow as a writer, and as with the ability of writing, um, how do I want to say this? Writing from the heart, I guess.
yes, yes.
Hmm.
They've proven that the heart actually has memory cells.
Hmm. Oh, they have. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Your heart actually has functioning brain cells, memory cells.
Hmm.
So when you get your heart and your mind in alignment, the heart brain connection, they call it,
Hmm.
it's amazing how much more aligned you can be with your own spiritual growth and your own creative drive. And I find it much easier than to get in the flow of creativity.
Right. Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah. And I think, if you're coming from the heart, especially as an author, when you're writing, when
Hmm.
you have that genuine, this is truly my gut, this is how I felt, this is what I went through, how can I help you,
Hmm.
right? people sense that authenticity. They can hear it.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
trying to be something else that you're not pretending. You're not a valley girl. You're not, you know, you
Right.
you are genuinely caring about your audience, your readers. You want to share so that you can impact them positively and help them through similar emotions, experiences to come out the other side.
Hmm.
And that
Exactly.
genuine authenticity is so important.
Oh, it is. And it's so important not only in biographies or memoirs, but I think in fiction too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Because currently I'm moving out of the memoir genre and moving into the mystery genre.
Oh, fun.
And yeah, it's a mystery set in a small Texas town called China Grove. And it's about a woman, and it's Sarah. I'm moving Sarah into this.
Oh,
And Sarah moves into a house with a tragic past, and then she gets entangled in secrets. Every small town has secrets, but that echo her own secrets. But
uh-huh.
there
Uh-huh.
will be no ghosts in this one, just the haunting of memory
Mhm.
and the silence of generations. And so it's fiction, but it's still going to be rooted in the truth because even
Sure.
in mystery, I'm drawn to the question, what are we hiding? And what would happen if we finally brought it to light? And
Yeah.
so that's going to be thematic through the rest of my writing
Oh,
career.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. And as they always say, write what you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
That's
Exactly.
what they
Because
say.
if you've been there, you know what it smells like.
Oh, yeah. Taste
You know what
like.
it feels like. You know what the lighting is like in the afternoon,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Um, One of the stories that I'm currently working on takes place in modern day Cairo in Egypt.
Oh, wow.
And I've had the wonderful ability to travel to Egypt twice.
Cool.
And
That's
some
nice.
of the flashbacks take place in India. And
Hmm.
I just went and toured India. And part of my love of travel is to have this really true experiential awareness of a place,
Hmm.
right? Um,
Hmm.
like I've been down in the basement in the bakeries in Morocco, you know.
Hmm.
I understand how the inner workings of some of these places function and smell and look and feel and the tools they use and this kind of raw reality of
Right.
the place. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes the place can even be a character.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that 1,000%. Absolutely. As you were talking, in another life, I was an instructor for the University of Arizona, and we had a 36-hour course that we delivered to the military.
Uh-huh.
And it was about personal responsibility. And I was very, very fortunate to be selected to go to an aircraft carrier before women were on ships.
Oh,
It was me and 5,000 guys, which would be
yes,
a great title for a book.
it would.
But during that time, I was fortunate enough to visit different because we would go into ports. I was fortunate enough to visit different places. And my favorite place that we visited was Macau. And we had a tour of a village that when you walked up the hill, you were walking into a totally different century in the past. And it was like absorbing the culture, absorbing the people, absorbing the smells and the sights and all of that was very impactful for me. That was the best place because on one side of it was an island. Macau's an island. One side is growing up, it's got a casino, it's very
Oh,
modern. On the other side are these villages of people who have not moved past the century that they were brought up in, probably the 18th century.
yeah,
So it's very interesting. So like you, when I travel, I like to dig into the culture, dig into the people, see what they're all about.
right, right.
Yeah.
And it's that. that connection to place, that connection to culture, understanding the motivation of the people that are living
Mhm.
there, you know. And I think the more though that we travel, the more that we see that we're all alike.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
the human experience, the details change, but the scenarios seem to stay the same.
Exactly, you know, the
Right.
hopes, the wants, the wishes, the desires, all are there. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Yeah, just put in
Exactly.
a different setting. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Well, I absolutely love that you're writing the next book. That's fabulous. And I love that you have the creative theme that you're pulling from the memoirs into the fiction genre because,
Mhm.
again, even though it is fiction, the characters really live within you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
So each of them is a certain facet of your diamond.
Exactly. And you know, I struggled with bringing Sarah into a fictionalized murder mystery because Sarah, to my readers, was real. And I still get emails saying, I really want to know what happens next to Sarah, you know. And so I asked my friends in my group, what do you think if I take Sarah and Sarah's story
Uh-huh.
into a fiction? And they said, well, you're the writer. You do what you want. I was afraid of betraying my readers, you
Right,
know, that
right,
they wouldn't
right.
trust me because the first two were true and this one it wasn't, is not, won't be true, except for the elements of the theme will be true.
Right.
So I just let it go, and that's why Sarah is going to be in this series of mysteries.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Oh, that's wonderful. Let me ask you this. What do you consider a fulfilled life?
Interesting question. Fulfilled life. Well, I think having a family that you're close to. I have a son with he's a lovely wife and two wonderful grandchildren. And they fulfill me in one area that I need to be fulfilled. And taking my experiences and bringing it to their family and letting their family's experience bringing into mine. So we mesh. Um, I have found a man who I would never think could be so kind, so gentle, so giving of himself toward me. He fulfills me. And having friends that I can relate to, that I can share, they share. And I think that fulfills me. But also taking all of that and putting it into a creativity pot,
Yes.
I think really that's what helps me go through. So that's my fulfillment, being able to travel, being able to be with my friends, my family, my partner in life. I think that that's true for me.
That's beautiful. I love that. Very well said.
Thank
So
you.
I see that as connection.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a perfect place for us to end our conversation. And I thoroughly enjoyed talking with you today, Kathy. And best of luck with the new book. Best of luck with the memoirs. I know they're going to be just very helpful to anyone who picks up and opens those pages.
I'm hoping so. Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. This has been fun. I've learned a lot about you and have enjoyed our conversation. So the
Absolutely.
best of luck to you as well in your podcast and in your new novel that you're penning away.
Yeah, the next one's on the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exciting.
yes, it is. Well, I will be thrilled to have you back when you get the new book out. Let's plan on
Okay, perfect. I'll let you know.
it. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.